What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Caffeine Punk, the first one of 2022. We are in the middle of February. 2022 is already flying by. This will be a monthly endeavor instead of a weekly one. Just way too busy to be doing this every week on top of our brains hurt, but it'll still come out once a month. So tonight we are talking to, or today I should say, it's not night out. I'm used to saying that for our brains hurt. Today we are talking to Jennifer Leroy, aka Brackett of Creatures and Creeps, both spelled with a K. She is an artist. She does a lot of awesome, like rockabilly horror type artwork. Really right up my alley since I'm a big fan of horror punk and all that good stuff. So we're gonna talk to her, see how she got her start, and get to know her. She also designed the new logo for this podcast, which is pretty badass. So we'll be talking to Brackett coming up in a minute, but first, this episode, as every episode, is brought to you by Punk Rock Joe Coffee. Head over to punkrockjoe.com. That's punkrockjoe.com for some coffee. Get some, buy some. It's good stuff. So Brackett will be here in a second, but first, give me coffee.
Give me coffee, I want coffee flowing through my veins. Give me coffee, I want coffee flowing, go insane. Give me coffee, I want coffee always in my head. Give me coffee, I want coffee till I'm fucking dead. I want coffee right now. I want coffee right now.
Awesome. All right, cool. So today we are talking to Jennifer Leroy, aka Brackett. So I guess where do you currently live and where are you originally from?
I currently live in Bonita Springs, Florida, unfortunately.
Okay.
Not my choice. I kind of had to move here for family reasons.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Connecticut, and I was actually born in California.
Oh, what part of California?
Walnut Creek by San Francisco.
Okay. I lived in Monterey for a couple of years, which is just
really?
south of there. Yeah.
It's nice there.
It is really nice. Yeah, definitely. I like the northern and central coast better than LA. When it comes to California, LA is more fun, but it's nicer up north.
Yeah, it definitely is. This whole other vibe up there.
Yeah, totally. So, all right, before we get into everything, go ahead and just plug and promote anything you have, your websites, whatever. Where can people find you?
Okay, I have a website called Creatures and Creeps, spelled with K's. Creatures spelled with a K, creeps spelled with a K. Creaturesandcreeps.com, where you can find all my artwork, my bio, hear a little bit about me and everything like that. You can also find me on Instagram at creatures dash and creeps dash. So go check it out. It's a lot of fun stuff on there.
Awesome.
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw your stuff. It really stuck out to me because of the horror type themed rockabilly stuff that you do.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like horror punk, horror movies. So when did you know you wanted to be an artist?
God, ever since I was a kid, It was like kind of the only thing I was really good at. I'm not really good at math or anything else as much as I'm good at art. Which is good and bad because it's hard to make a career out of it,
Right.
You really have to be passionate about what you do for sure.
Yeah, totally. And who were some of your influences? Like what artists do you remember seeing like at a young age and just kind of being blown away by?
Let's see. Well, where I went to the the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and I've had a free pass to the museum, so I saw lots of the masters' works.
Yeah.
Like Da Vinci and Rembrandt and everything. So I pull a lot of influences from the masters. Originally, I used to be very into realistic art, realism, but I've kind of changed since then and gone to a little bit more abstract. But my influence, I love, in 2003, I was introduced to Banksy, and I just fell in love with him. Everything that he does, I just think is great and smart and intellectual, work.
Right. Yeah, totally. And you do a lot of spray paint stuff in your art as well, right?
Yeah, I love spray painting.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I know some cities have recently opened up. I know I think New York did it a little while ago, like zones where you could actually where they actually let street art kind of happen, spray painting and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was gonna ask if you've ever you know, done any of that stuff, but I guess you haven't. Like,
No,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know about
Yeah,
it.
I'm pretty sure it's New York. I think DC as well. There's like um they have like, yeah, different sections and walls where you could like put your artwork on. Um so I think it's
That's
becoming
cool.
like, yeah, because I mean like spray paint, like graffiti it and stuff, that art is amazing.
I
You know, I
know.
mean some of it is ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah, so and growing up, I lived in New York for a little while. It's like just seeing the subway trains with like graffiti on it. It was like, you know, moving canvases of art. And now
I
it's
thought so
being recognized.
too.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, because I when I grew up in Connecticut, I was like 45 minutes away from the city, so I
Yeah,
constantly went into the city, and yeah, I love the street art there.
cool.
It's
How old were you
beautiful.
when you left Connecticut?
I was 18 because I went to college,
Okay,
and
so
then
you grew up
I
there and
never
then
went
went to
back.
college. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. What what was it like? Like, what was the process of getting into the Art Institute of Chicago? Because I know it's a very prestigious art school. I have a friend who went there. Um, but what kind of like what was the application process? Did you have to like submit artwork and all that stuff, or how did that work?
Yeah, we had to submit artwork. We didn't have to draw anything particular for the school, but we had to submit artwork. I was working in a art class outside of high school, so I had a lot to submit actually, which
Mhm.
was good.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, it was really just about submitting your art. You didn't have to really worry about your SAT scores or anything like
Yeah,
that. Thank God.
yeah.
um,
I hear you on that.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, it wasn't a terrible process. It was relatively easy.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny the SAT thing because now like my daughter is going off to college next this coming fall, and since because of the pandemic, you could apply without SAT scores. Um,
Oh.
and that definitely helped her. Hopefully, nobody at the universities are listening to this. Her school, yeah, she followed her father in a very low SAT score. So, um, but yeah, it's cool, and I think a lot of colleges are doing away with it completely. Um, you know, just
Yeah,
because test taking is a weird thing.
it
Um,
really is.
yeah, and people get a lot of anxiety and stuff. So,
Yeah.
what what are your favorite like styles of art? Like, not maybe not styles, but like I don't know how to put it, like ways, like drawing, art, like painting. You know what
Paintings.
I mean? Yeah, yeah.
Um, I love to draw and paint primarily. I used to do a lot of printmaking in college, which I love to do too, but it's hard to do without a proper setup.
Hmm.
I love to do a lot of screen printing and everything, but you need to have a screen, you need to burn the screen. So
Right.
it's a little bit more of a process. Since then, I've just been doing primarily drawing and painting mostly.
Cool. What I was looking at your bio and there was a word that I didn't know how to pronounce or what it meant. So you have to excuse my like art in ignorance, but what Gouache?
Gouache.
Okay, what is that?
It's like a form of watercolor,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, gotcha. I had no idea how to
No.
like Guaki. I was like, I don't know how to say this, so I'll just spell it. And yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just watercolor. So it's like
Yeah, it's just
painting.
a form of watercolor. It's just a little bit different. I don't even really know how it's different. I just prefer to use it actually over watercolor.
Yeah, cool. And so after art school, you went over to London. Is that correct?
I went over to London and studied abroad there when I was in school at
Okay.
the Art Institute. So that was an amazing experience.
Yeah,
Obviously, like living in London, I wish I could go back
I
and
know.
live there. I just love about Europe that you're so close to all these other
Oh yeah,
countries. You can just hop on a train and be someplace else.
yeah,
So I'm hoping to get back there someday soon.
yeah. London is great. We went. We took my our daughter like in 2013, and it's so cool. Like in London, you could because it's like there's so much like cool new shit, and then you could like walk down the block and there's something that's like 800 years old. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like
I
it's
know.
really crazy. I
I
love
love
that
how they
about it.
preserve their history.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really do that as much here. We
Right.
knock everything down,
Yeah. 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 Totally.
but
Yeah.
I
There's
love
so
that
much,
about
so much history just walking through London. You just learn and see so much. It's pretty rad. It's very
Yeah,
expensive though. I
it is
noticed.
very expensive,
Yeah. Yeah. I would
unfortunately.
imagine
But
for an art student as well. It was
yes,
it could have been tough at times. Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you have how has the pandemic like affected you? Like, do you regularly have art shows, or and has the pandemic like kind of screwed that up for you?
Oh, definitely has.
Yeah.
Definitely has. I was supposed to have a show actually in New York in June, and it got delayed. It might be sort of happening now, but
Okay.
I don't really know. Because things just keep changing up there with yes and no, and
Right.
whether they're going to let you do stuff or not. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that they will, because it's a great art show to be in and everything.
Awesome.
But yeah, I haven't been able to show really anywhere in years,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Hoping that changes soon.
Yeah, totally. When is that show supposed to be if it happens?
Probably, let's see. I'm probably in like April, like at the
Okay.
beginning of spring, around there.
All right,
Fingers
cool.
crossed.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I actually just bought a piece of your art like before before we came on. Delinquent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
You
bought it
bought
from
it?
yeah. I bought it
Oh,
from
cool.
one of the websites on your that you on your links. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's
So I'm
awesome.
pretty stoked. Uh,
Yay.
yeah, I don't own that much like original art, so um but yeah, I like that. I have a thing for switchblades and
Oh,
punk rock
yes.
looking chicks, so so
Yes.
that painting has it all.
Me
Yeah.
too. I have a thing for both of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a huge punk, still am. I think I'm still a punk,
Yeah.
but I was really into it when I got into college and everything, and had the short spiky hair
Yeah.
and the whole works. So yeah, I love
Awesome.
tough girls with switchblades too.
Awesome. So I was gonna ask you about the music. Like, what are some of your favorite bands and albums from growing up?
Oh gosh. I used to really, I mean, I still do actually. I still listen to like Stiff Little Fingers, and I'm trying to, when you try to think about it, it's
Oh,
always
I
so
know.
difficult.
Yeah.
I love, I'm actually doing a gig, an upcoming gig, where I'm interviewing rockabilly and psychobilly bands
Oh,
for
sweet.
Bad Billy Records. So I've been listening to a lot of psychobilly lately. I love Demented Argo. That's one of my
Okay.
favorite bands. But yeah, Dead Boys is one of my all-time
Yeah.
favorite bands.
Cool.
Love them.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of punk. I just, of course, I can't think of all the band names right now that
No, it's all
I
good.
like. But
So when you were growing up, like what like was that in like the early 2000s and stuff like
yeah,
that? So I guess like the Southern California punk scene had blown up already, like No
yeah,
Effects, Bad Religion, all that stuff. Yeah. But New York, I
yeah,
mean, you were close enough to New York to go to some. I mean, every band
yeah,
comes through New York, so I mean that must have been cool to like at least have access
yeah.
to shows.
I think the last one I saw was Alkaline Trio. I used to really love
Oh
Alkaline
yeah.
Trio. But yeah, I haven't seen. Oh, I went to Joey Ramone's birthday where I saw the New York Dolls, which was pretty
Oh,
cool.
sweet. That's awesome.
I love them too. I love
Awesome.
a lot of like the '77 punk,
Oh yeah. Same here. Yeah, the Ramones are just, I mean, the best.
Yeah, how can you can't even say anything bad about them. It's not possible.
Not at all. Yeah. When did you go to that? With the Joey Ramone's birthday party?
In 2006, I did that.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Awesome. There's this band called The Independents. I don't know if you know them, but they
No.
are they're a horror ska band, ska punk horror.
Wow.
They're from Myrtle Beach, and Joey actually managed them and produced them until he died. And I think you would really like them. It just look into it, at some point. The Independents.
Yeah. Independence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love horror punk.
Yeah. They're really good. Yeah.
That sounds fun. Horror punk ska, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Does music ever do you ever find inspiration in it? Like, I know when I do stuff, whether it's as simple as like cleaning the house or like writing, or I tend to listen to more music because it kind of helps me out. Does that stand true for you with your art? Do you kind of draw inspiration from that?
I have to be listening to music. I
Yeah.
recently got into a band. I don't know how you say them, the Valkyrians. I don't
Okay.
know if I'm saying it right, but
Gotcha.
I've been listening to a lot of them when I paint, and I usually listen to like a mix of songs. Like I recently got really into Emil and the Sniffers.
Okay.
Really love them.
Cool.
Listening to them a lot while I paint.
Awesome. Very cool. What are you currently listening to? Like, is that what you're currently listening to as well? Like, say you were to get in your car later and drive somewhere, like, what do you have on? What are you currently spinning?
Like I said, a lot of Emil and the Sniffers I'm actually spinning. I I should have written them down. But yeah, I'm just a variation of punk and rockabilly and horror punk and psychobilly, and so just a kind of variation of all those genres, putting all together.
Awesome. As for some reason, like this is like so random, but last night I started listening to Kenny Rogers. I have no idea why. I'm not even a country guy, but like I think I was just looking at watching YouTube stuff, and sometimes I get mixed up in the reaction videos that people have. And
Yeah,
it's funny to me when like super young people react to like older stuff, and when they appreciate it. And it was like Kenny Rogers stuff. So now I'm like,
that's
downloading.
random.
Yeah, I know, it totally is. But yeah, not very punk rock, but whatever.
No, well, I love a lot of Johnny Cash and Hank Williams.
Johnny Cash
too.
is the best. Yeah, totally. Yep. So you also do modeling as well, or you used to do modeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could edit this out if you want, but you have done Suicide Girl work before.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's been a while, correct?
Yeah, I'm not really currently doing it. I started in 2006, so
Okay.
I'm like kind of in the beginning of Suicide Girls.
Right.
So I used to do it a lot when I lived in Los Angeles, but since moving to Florida, there really hasn't been much opportunity to get back into it.
Yeah.
It'd be fun now that I'm older to try to do a set again, but I kind of just lost my interest in it a little bit over the years. Kind of grew out of it.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm proud to have been a part of it. It's a cool thing. It was a cool experience. So got no bad words to say about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's an interesting like site. I mean, it's cool because it's it's not pornography as far as like it's just really cool that they have like every type of girl, every type of woman, like just doing their thing. And I think it's really cool. So
I know there is a variety on there, definitely.
Yeah, totally. All right, so here's a couple weird questions that have nothing to do with art. So if you were on death row, what would your final meal be?
Oh gosh. What would my final meal be? Probably some fish and vegetables, like swordfish and vegetables. That's kind of like what I eat every day.
Okay, cool.
I just love that. I try to be as healthy as I can. But yeah, I'm pretty boring. Just like
even on your last meal, still being healthy on your last meal.
maybe like pancakes or something like that.
All right. Swordfish with a side of pancakes.
More fun.
Yeah, totally. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of art? Like if you had like, and you get a crazy horse too, so you get 5 people, and it could be art, like as in art or music or whatever. But who, like 5 artists?
Well, Banksy would definitely be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really inspired, by musicians, so I'd have to go with Stiv Bators as one of them. Okay. Sparky from Demented or Go would be one of them. I'm trying to think who else am I in love with. I forget his name. Ian, is it Ian McCain from Joy Division? From Joy Division.
Joy Division. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I can never remember his last name.
Okay.
But try to think who else would be up there. Who else are my heroes? I don't know who else would be there. Probably something horror related, like maybe Frankenstein or something like that, because I love horror so much. I'd have to include somebody up there from horror.
Yeah, totally. Do you like the old, like the classic monster movies?
Yes,
yeah, definitely. I do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Probably be Near Dark.
Near
Have you
Dark?
seen that one?
I haven't, but I've heard on my other podcast somebody has brought that up a couple times actually.
Yeah, Near Dark is an amazing vampire movie with Bill Paxton in it.
Okay.
And it has this scene. I used to wear Spurs a lot.
Okay.
And cowboy boots.
Nice.
And it has a scene where he kills a guy with his spur. So I just fell in love with it after that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're more of a vampire fan than like a werewolf?
I love them both.
Yeah.
But I think I've just been more drawn to vampires just in general. Always wanted to be a vampire. Who doesn't?
Yeah, totally. Of course. Yeah. There's a movie theater near where I live that they play mostly old movies, and during Halloween they played like The Exorcist a couple years ago. And last year my wife and I went to go see The Howling there. And I'd never seen The Howling before.
Really?
But it was just this really cool, like, because I love American Werewolf in London. I think that's a really awesome movie.
Yes.
And the transformation scene, I think even for like as old as it is, I think it's such a great scene how they, he goes from man to werewolf, and The Howling one is pretty good too. I think it's right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to see that transformation as well.
Yeah, it's especially you as an artist, like it's crazy, especially back then when they didn't have like the computer technology and stuff. It's amazing how they pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely find a lot of inspiration for horror for my pieces. Definitely. They're all kind of have a little bit of horror in them.
Hell yeah. So what do you have coming up, like besides the art show in New York? I mean, like hoping that things open up by the summer. What plans going forward?
Like I mentioned before, I'm starting this whole new gig, interviewing bands, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
That should be coming out, like, I'm just trying to get my microphone to work, and then
Gotcha.
and then it will be coming out hopefully within the next week or so. I have my first band lined up. I'm going to interview Godless Wicked Creeps.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Get my name out there more and be introduced to bands and everything like that. I'm actually going to interview Sparky from Demented Are Go.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. Is it going to be like a podcast? Is it going to be available on like the streaming services?
Yeah, I'm going to do it on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's awesome because you could do that anywhere, and it's you definitely make a lot of contacts. And I've gotten, like, since I started podcasting, I've met so many people in different bands and stuff, and like got so many like free tickets and backstage passes.
That's awesome.
It is definitely perks that go along with it. So definitely good luck, and I'll be listening for sure. So
thank you.
Yeah. And also just wanted to thank you before I let you go. Like, thank you for the logo design. It was rad. Yeah. And it'll be attached to I'm going to put out, this will be out next Wednesday. But tonight I'll probably post like a promo with a pic of you, and like the logo will be in the corner. So I'll send that to you, and then I'll post it on all my social media stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds
cool.
Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. And I'm really looking forward to hanging your artwork up when I get it.
Oh, me too. You'll have to send a picture of me.
I will totally do it. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right, Jen. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
It was fun.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Give me coffee, I will come and throw it through my veins. Give me coffee, I will come before I go insane. Give me coffee, I will come